Greetings, strangers. Welcome back to Ghost Town SMP, the SMP where I am all alone. And today's project is going to be this one right over here. This skeleton spawner has been a thorn in my side for months. It doesn't work bad, but it doesn't work well. And on top of that, it's an eyesore. So, our project today is going to be rehauling it, making it actually work and actually pretty. So real quick, I am just going to deactivate this thing. Then we're going to head to the storage room and get some supplies to get fixing this thing up. Of course, if we're in the storage room, that means it's time to work on putting another armor trim up in here, which is going to be Ward today. Okay, so I think we do some dark blue armor, because we haven't done that yet. And then we have to figure out a trim to go with dark blue. Maybe it's time for another quartz trim. Dark blue and quartz? Alright, so there we have Ward. I like the dark blue and the quartz. But I really like Ward. I may have to use Ward as one of the ones when I do my netherite armor, honestly. I'm kind of captivated by it. That's enough time on armor stands, so now we're gonna finish gathering up supplies so that we can work on redoing the skeleton farm. Okay, so here's the deal. I, as usual, do not have a plan going into this. I haven't had time to sit down and make a plan. So I don't know exactly what we're doing. I have the basic idea of what I want this to look like. I'd love to make a cute little tower that has a little house connected onto it across the back. I think that would be the best way to do it, and it would fit with the area really well. But first thing we're going to do is tear this entire thing down, and then we are going to work on functionality of the mob farm above all else. Get it actually working appropriately. And then once it's working, we're going to work on decorating around it. I hope no one was expecting this to be a tutorial, because it is definitely not going to be. The thing about building mob farms for me is that no matter how many times I've done it, I never seem to be able to do it well. So it's a lot of just trying things out and seeing what happens. Which isn't to say that that's a bad way to do things, it's just not a very interesting one. Okay, this should function pretty well for our purposes. Which means it's time to start thinking about the design. So obviously we have to have the tower here. I might not have the bubble column centered inside of the tower. I might have the tower a little farther forward, just so we have a bit better space for working with back here. Alright. Give me some time to think. Okay, we've cleared out the area a decent amount, had some good time to think while I was getting space for what we're going to be doing. And I think it's time to just start planning out the shape of this place. Okay, so what if we do this for the size of the tower? I don't see anything wrong with that. Did that sheep look like it was moving abnormally fast? Or was that just me? I'm sure it's fine. Okay, based on the height of the tower, this needs to be bigger. But other than that, I think we're off to a good start. Honestly, once we hit the roof, that'll probably be a good size for that section versus that section. The thing about just building on the fly for me is I don't have a lot to say when I'm plotting out a build. And so there's not a lot happening. However, this is what we've got so far. I think I might bring down some of the layers as far as how the transition's going, but other than that, this is looking pretty good so far. That section up there is going to be a little balcony. I'm thinking I may actually put a princess up in the tower, because what tower couldn't use a princess? This isn't a skeleton farm, guys. This is a princess tower. But I think that's enough of the shape work done where I can start actually building out the tower itself. It's possible we can go with the idea of like the towers kind of breaking down over time, which I think could be really cool. So some of the sections might be uneven. We'll just have to see. With that, I think I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse the building process, and we'll go from there. One of these days I'm gonna get good at actually remembering to hit record when I mean to. But, that's not today. So this is kind of what I'm thinking for the roof. But I think this color palette is working well. We obviously still have a lot of detail work to do. This is just a quick progress update because I had nothing else because I forgot to hit record on the replay mod, so funny thing, guys. I have once again underestimated how long a project was going to take, and overestimated how much time I had to work on it. The good news is, this is a project that we can kind of break into stages. So our current progress on the tower looks like this. And I'd say that's a pretty good place to leave the tower. We've got it decently decorated on the outside. I changed out the bottom half of the flared out bit of the tower to be various stones because it was too much yellow. It was too much yellow. And I love using yellow as the base for the tower, but it was too much. So now we have considerably less yellow, while it's still being the main focal point of the tower. So we've got this section here, and we go into a small room that forces you over to the left and down the stairs. And then we have a little hallway here, which is actually too dark. Let's not have stuff spawning outside of where it needs to. And you have a couple doorways here. The first one heads down to where the spawner is. And it also has a pretty big room here where I can expand facilities for the mob grinder. But then if we come this way, there's a staircase that leads all the way up to here. This part won't be visible once we build the other building, but it's fine for now. So up here there's this little tiny hallway, and this is going to head to a honey elevator, which is going to bring you all the way up to the top floor. But obviously we haven't made that yet. The other direction that you can go in here leads you up these stairs into the viewing area where you can see the skeletons as they spawn. Which hopefully one will spawn real quick. There we go. So yeah, then we can see that it's working. The viewing area is mostly just for troubleshooting in case I have problems with it again. But for now, it's fine. And so this will be an area we want to be able to get to. But yeah, so that's pretty much all there is on the inside. But then I'll fly up here so you can see the top floor. And we've added a fancy entrance to the balcony, which does make it a very small balcony, but the whole thing is for aesthetics anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And then inside, I'm going to level out the floor to this level. I've only done part of that so far. And then I've done the decorative windows with the frog lights behind them. And they have magenta stained glass in them, alongside these pretty little window frames. But yeah, that's what we've got so far. There is obviously still more decorating that can be done. I want to see about doing a little more work on the outside probably. Then we also need to get the inside figured out. Get it a little better decorated. I'm not planning to go too crazy with the decor inside, just because it's a mob farm. Most of the aesthetics we're doing are supposed to be for the outside of the build. But then we also still have to do the building on the back side here. I didn't even point out that I used hay blocks for weathering. This place is also looking pretty neat at night, with the glowing windows. Yeah, this is a great build. I'm excited for once we get this one done. And the last very important detail I wanted to show off while we're here is how amazingly cool this roof looks on the map. Like, look at this. I wasn't even thinking about what it would look like from above when I was building it, but it's possibly the coolest thing on the map so far. Like, that looks so cool. Although the frog sanctuary does also look really neat from above. We are going to call it here for today. We did some really great work on the tower, and it's pretty much done at this point. So next week we can work on building the house that connects to the back of it and covers the rest of the spawner. And then maybe we'll find time to decorate too, if we're feeling super ambitious. As always, I really appreciate y'all keeping me company here in this ghost town. And I will catch y'all later.